Hello and welcome. Now in this video, we're actually going to go and look at some of the services that you can offer to other internet marketers and entrepreneurs. Now you'll notice here that we are in the Warrior Forum, and if you look at the address that we are in the warriorforum.com. Now you may or may not have an account at the Warrior Forum. In some cases you may want to get an account so that you can go here and offer some of these services, but we're actually going to be talking about how you can offer them in a different way. But you do want to come to the Warrior Forum so that you can understand what other marketers are looking for in the service. Now you notice here that I've gone inside of the Warrior Forum. I've gone inside of a particular forum that's called the Warriors for Hire, and I'm actually going to show you how you get to that forum right now. Now, you are looking at the Warrior Forum, and what you're going to do is you're going to look at the very front part of the forum. You want to look for this subforum called Warriors for Hire. When you get there, you're going to see that you get to actually search the forum, and you want to go inside of the forum and then click search this forum. You then want to do an advanced search. When you get there, what you're going to do is you're going to actually put in the terms that you want to search for. And the way that I do it is I like to look for the titles only in my search. And this will actually give me those results that I'm really looking for. Otherwise, you can get a lot of irrelevant results. You're going to notice here right away that I've actually gone and I've looked for video creation in Warriors for Hire. And you notice that there are quite a few results here. There are 63 total, and you get a chance to see those people that are actually creating video for other people. And you can look at that and look at some of their listings to see what they're looking for. One of the great things about the Warrior Forum is you'll actually get to see some of the replies and how people created the service, maybe what they did and did not do fully when they were servicing customers. You'll also see here that I can actually put in here creation. Right, and you can see there are people who just do the creation process. I've also done a search for voiceover, and so again, if you've got audio equipment and you can actually do the actual voiceover, you can go inside of the Warrior Forum again to see what a service looks like. I understand that you can do any of these services on Fiverr that may or may not necessarily be the market that you're looking for. You can do that, but what we're talking about is creating the service that other internet marketers want so that you understand how to do it for their business. I'm actually going to show you here. Here's someone who's offering a webinar service. Right, you can see what they're looking for. They've actually got their tools on the Warriors for Hire section. Right, so they're offering a webinar service. You can also see that there's someone who writes sales copy. Quite a few people there. You look at their 70 listings, and these are people that rewrite or write sales copy. So if you are confident in the way that you write or rewrite sales copy, maybe you want to do it for people who already have PLR, you can actually do that and offer that service here inside of the Warrior Forum, or you can offer services that mirror these that are in the Warrior Forum. You'll see here that here's someone who understands how to put a membership site together. So this is someone who obviously understands whether it's optimized press or whatever membership site software that's out there. If you have that software, you can actually offer the service to be able to set people up in their membership site. You can see here that here's someone looking for somebody who understands ClickFunnels. So if you understand ClickFunnels and you understand how to get people set up and how to get people operating, that's a service that you can offer. You can offer Facebook ad management. So again, now you do need to understand how this actually works, but once again, it is a service that you can offer people in addition to actually doing the actual work of doing your own Facebook ads. And one of the things I want to show you right here is that here's someone who actually does interviews, and they actually give you some of the assets that go along with it, and you can buy an interview service. Right? They'll do a third-party interview of you. So basically, you want to poke around the Warrior Forum so you can find out what marketers are looking for. Go to the Warriors for Hire section. In some cases, you can go to the classified ad section. And what you're going to do is you're going to actually get a look at how to offer a real service that you can actually take some of the products that you already have and turn them into services for other people. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you in another video. You are now looking at the Warrior Forum, and we are looking here because this is going to be one way for you to list your services to other internet marketers. And you notice that there is a form here called the Warrior Special Offer Form. And the form that you're going to be looking at, actually, you're going to look at two. You're going to look at the Warriors for Hire section. You're going to look at the Warrior Classified Ad section. Both will cost you $20 to list a particular service there. And in the Warriors for Hire section, you want to take a look at some of the other ads, as we've talked about in another video, and structure yours accordingly. You're also going to want to look at the classified ad section, and you're going to want to list something and structure it accordingly. Now, that's not going to be the only way for you to be able to list what it is that you're going to do, and it's actually not even the most effective way. Now, Muncheye.com is a site where you are going to find out about future launches, and you're going to be able to find out about them before they happen. And these are going to be the people that may be open to something that you are going to do. And so you want to find out who's going to have something that you are going to have, a service that is going to be relevant for them to offer to their customers. And as you can see here, from the next 10 days, you probably got over 5,100 launches. So there are lots of opportunities here for you to be able to offer a service. You can do the same thing inside of another site called JV Notify Pro. The idea behind the site is the same thing. You are going to be finding out who's going to have a product that is going to fit what it is that you are actually going to do. Once you understand these sites, you can actually go and look at products that have already been launched, not only in JV Zoo and Warrior Plus, but you can also take a look at products that have been launched in ClickBank. And there are going to be lots of different kinds of products being offered here, digital products. And again, if you have a service that's going to be relevant to the customers that are going to be buying this, this is where you're going to want to reach out to the vendor. So if we have a vendor, let's say that we pick one of these vendors and we look at them and we see that they've got a product here. And what's going to happen is they're going to have a joint venture page. We're going to go and check out that joint venture page. They're then going to have something where you can actually contact them. Typically, you're going to find that there at the bottom. You're going to want to reach out to them by the means that they have set up to be reached out to. And when you reach out, you're just going to write a little note there. Hey, I noticed you've got a service launching next month. Maybe you want to put the date in there. Talk about what it is you do. Make it brief. Make it clear about what it is you do. And then just make a pitch. Hey, I wonder if you have a way for your customers to actually get this done for them. If not, I like to talk to you for being able to set these up for your launch. You want to show them some of the previous work, or at least some of the people who have seen you do this work before. You have some testimonials, and then just ask them when a good time to talk might be. Right? Make it easy for them to contact you. Right? Give them Skype, Facebook, your mobile number, and email, and then reach out to them. And then maybe you want to wait a little while, and then just kind of see where that leaves you. You can do this as many times as you want to, as many products as you see that you feel comfortable that you'd be able to offer the kind of service that their customers might be interested in. Now, even though you're going to have these various ads in various places, you are going to want to have your own page. We are going to cover that in a future video in this course. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome to the hands-on session for part 2. And we talked about turning your webinar attendance into an actual product. Now, most of everything you're going to be able to do to get started, you're going to be able to do inside of Google Docs or the Microsoft Office suite if you have it. You'll need to start by creating an outline on maybe slides, or if you want to do it on Google Docs. And once you create your slides and your docs, then what you're going to do is you're going to start creating videos. And in order to do that, you're going to need to be able to record your screen. Now, there are a couple of programs that you can do that. Most internet marketers and entrepreneurs will use Camtasia. However, there is a $300 price tag to Camtasia. You can get the free trial, which will last for 30 days. That will give you time to go ahead and record your videos. Hopefully, if you can sell the course, then you'll be able to have your fee for Camtasia in order to activate it permanently. Now, if you don't want to upgrade to Camtasia and $300 is too spicy of a price, you can do programs like Screencast-O-Matic. Now, they do have an activation fee. They don't do as much in terms of editing, but you can actually get your video recorded where you are actually recording your screen on a program like Screencast-O-Matic. If you are a Mac user, you can use the program called ScreenFlow. And ScreenFlow also has a free trial available. Now, some people are using Open Broadcaster software, which is the software that is used in order to broadcast to Facebook Live. There is a recording feature there. In order to do that, then you'll need to start streaming and then hit record. Pretty much works the same way, and you are going to create a video at the end. Another way to create screen share video, you can actually do it on Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts is free. You can actually take the video that you get from Google Hangouts and then use it once you start the editing process. You're going to record your Google Hangouts, you're going to do your screen sharing, and then your video is going to appear inside of your YouTube channel. And you'll see it here, and then all you'll do when you get to the YouTube channel, you'll just click that download MP4 and you'll be able to download your video and you'll be able to start the editing process once you are complete. Now, YouTube itself has for free some limited video editing capabilities. If you don't want to pay for one or you don't necessarily have the capital to do that, you can check into this video editor to see if it does everything you'll need to do. Of course, you'll need to upload your video to YouTube and then start the editing process there. Now, Camtasia will also allow you to create MP3 audios to give your customer along with the videos. You can do the same thing inside of ScreenFlow. There are free programs that will help you to strip the audio from your YouTube video. It'll be the same thing. You do want to be careful with those programs and make sure that they do not give you any virus. Now, you are going to need to then host your files in order to deliver to your customer. You can use a site like Dropbox if you don't have one. You can also use Google Drive, which is available to you. There is also a more commercial solution in Amazon S3 where you will be able to store your services in the cloud, or you'll be able to store your files there, and then you'll need to create a file or a link from there into wherever you're delivering the actual product. Now, you are going to need an interface for Amazon S3. Most marketers use Cloudberry Lab Server. If you go to cloudberrylab.com, you can actually get a free interface that you'll be able to use for Amazon S3. You can get that there, and you'll see it there. It says Cloudberry Explorer Freeware, and you'll be able to use it. In most cases, you will not need the Pro version. You can pretty much get along with the Explorer Freeware, and that will allow you to interface with Amazon S3. It'll allow you to upload your files to Amazon S3. It'll also allow you to create a link that your customer can use. Now, here is what is important about Amazon S3. Amazon S3 is going to be pay as you go. So as much as you have use, people are going to be kind of creating your pricing. So this is not going to be a standard. You're not going to have flat fee pricing, nor is it free. You are going to be charged for your usage. But for the most part, Amazon S3 is very reasonable in terms of its usage and its pricing. So you might want to test Amazon S3, but if you're going to have a lot of traffic, probably want to get a handle on how much that's going to be before you commit. So in order to actually deliver the product, in order to edit the pages that you're going to have, in order to create a page or a thank you page or a place where people can go get their files, you're going to need an HTML editor. And if you don't have one already, there are a lot of free ones online. And again, buyer beware with this. Make sure that you're getting one that is reliable and one that's not going to give you a virus. But you are going to be able then to edit your HTML pages so that you'll be able to put the links in there to give to your customers. Now, if you have Dreamweaver or you have Composer or you have some other alternative, then that's fine. You can use it. But if you don't have one, there are a lot of free ones out there that you'll be able to get. Just type in HTML editor and then you'll be able to edit the page. What some people do is on a monthly basis, they'll pay Adobe Creative Cloud. One thing you'll want to be aware of is that they're going to ask for a year's commitment up front. They're going to give you quite a bit of software, but it is pretty spicy in terms of the price. Some people will get a single application and they will actually get it here. If you want to use Dreamweaver or something like that, you can do that at $19 a month. But again, you want to make sure that you're going to have use of it and you're going to be using it on a continual basis, because again, this is going to be a year's commitment when you actually get Adobe Creative Cloud. But it's worth looking into because a lot of these software programs are going to be useful to you if you're going to be creating products like this one on a regular basis. One in particular that you're probably going to use is going to be Photoshop. And Photoshop is going to give you the ability to create graphical images. Remember, graphical images are going to be very important to your being able to give your customer a visual sense of what it is that they're buying. And in some cases, you can get Photoshop Creative Cloud for $9.99 a month. You might want to get it along with a second application, but this is going to be important. Now, there are software programs that will do the same thing that Photoshop will do in a limited sense. There's one called eCover Authority. I mean, again, now you're not going to be paying on a monthly basis, which is going to be fantastic, and you're going to actually be able to get this at a reasonable price. It is something that will do a lot of what you're going to need to have done as an internet marketer. Ultimately, though, you're going to have a lot more flexibility if you know and learn how to use a program like Photoshop. Now, there are some other things that you're going to need in order to complete this process. One is a shopping cart experience, or a way to deliver your product once a customer actually clicks their button. Now, you can use PayPal, but there are programs out there like Genius Marketing Pro that will deliver your product. There are programs like Rapid Action Profits, which is not cloud-based, which actually operates on your server, and you'll be able to create a shopping cart experience. This is an older program, a little complicated to use, but it does allow you to save lots of costs when you actually start to use it. And then there's also ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels is about $97 a month for the lower level. This will give you the shopping cart experience and something else called one-click upsells. This is also available through a program called Digital Access Pass. If you'd rather use a WordPress platform, you can actually deliver your customer through this shopping cart experience. Now, they're going to be paying through PayPal, but you're going to be creating all that on your site. Now, you can create a shopping cart experience through affiliate networks like Warrior Plus. These sites are going to have you to pay a fee for every time someone buys, but again, this will give your customer something secure that they'll get their product, they'll be able to go back in a login and get it, and you'll be able to get affiliates to promote it if it's something that they like. You can also use a site like the Warrior Forum. The Warrior Forum also has its own affiliate program. It has its own shopping cart system that you can actually deliver your product to your customer as well as recruit affiliates. The same thing is true of ClickBank. ClickBank is a marketplace where you can list your product as well as recruit affiliates, as is JVZoo. JVZoo stands out as one of the leaders because customers are able to get their product immediately, and most of the commissions are paid immediately. So affiliates like to promote products on the JVZoo network. Now, you're also going to need a page builder system. Once again, Rapid Action Profits happens all on your server. It's a downloadable program. You will be able to use that. They have limited capability. It's my understanding that they are doing an update, but as of right now, that has not been done. But everything can be done on Rapid Action Profits if you know HTML. If you don't, this is going to be a little difficult to learn right off the bat and probably won't be considered to be something for someone who is brand new to internet marketing. ClickFunnels is the same thing. In addition to offering you a shopping cart experience, you will also have a drag and drop page builder. The same thing is going to be true with InstaBuilder. InstaBuilder is actually a WordPress plugin where you are going to be able to use InstaBuilder to create your pages and then deliver your customer their product. Now, the delivery process doesn't happen inside of InstaBuilder. All that's really going to happen here is going to be that you are going to create your page. And as you can see, their product is listed on ClickBank. Now, there is also Optimize Press, which is a very intuitive program to use. Now, the thing about Optimize Press is it can be a little pricey in order to get started, but it is fairly easy to use, fairly easy to understand. The same thing is going to be true of Genius Marketing Pro. There's a monthly fee attached to Genius Marketing Pro. So again, if that's not something that you're interested in, there are all these other alternatives that we have mentioned. So that is pretty much what you're going to need in order to execute part 2. Now, in our next video, we're going to talk a little bit about what you're going to do to get into some of the particulars in executing this plan. Welcome back. Now, in this video, we're going to go over just some basics in terms of writing the sales letter. And what you see here is that there is a Google search. And the Google search that was done was for David Fry, 12-step sales letter. And you can find any one of these entries. This sales letter formula was probably written back in the 2000s. And so you can actually look to any of these places to get David Fry's 12-step sales letter. So what you're going to see is that you are going to see that David Fry has a list of things that he is suggesting that you do. And these are going to be the 12 points that you're going to follow in just about any sales letter. So if you look at this outline, this is going to help you to be able to take your concept and then turn it into a sales letter. And so the other thing that you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to go to a site like JVZoo, and you're going to be able to go and find out how you can then look to JVZoo and reverse engineer a sales letter. So let's do that right now. Now what I'm going to do when I get inside of JVZoo is that I am going to start looking for a product that's going to be as close to the one that I want to launch as possible, whether or not it's going to be the actual product itself, or whether or not it's going to be one that is going to be in the same category. For instance, if you are launching a webinar software, then you want to find another webinar software that's going to be similar to yours. And what you're going to do is just take a look at some of the top selling products. When you do that, you're going to go inside here, and for instance, let's go inside this one. And then we're going to take a look, and then we're going to look at the sales page. When we get to the sales page, we're going to actually see, I'm going to stop this from playing right now, and we're going to take a look at how we can actually look to replicate a sales letter that's like this, and then combine elements of copy from David Fry's 12-step sales letter. So one of the first things we're going to do is we are going to go and we're going to take a look to see how they actually created the sales letter. And this is always, you always want to do this. You always want to take a look to find out, what kind of software was used to create it. Sometimes you might even have the same software. So we're going to take a look. We're going to see here. And it looks as if this was not a WordPress theme. This is going to be some kind of software that was actually done, created from HTML, which is fine. But we can actually replicate this in another way. What we're really concerned with right now is we're going to be concerned with a copy. We see that there's a headline, we see that there's a video, and then we see that there are some strips and test blocks. But what we want to follow is what's happening in the actual copy and what is convincing to other people, and even sometimes some of the placement of the images. And we can actually do some of the same placement. You'll notice that a lot of this is going to be screenshots. Some of it is going to be images. Some of these are going to be images that were picked up from other places. And these are all things that you're going to be able to do. Right? Some of these were taken from some actual screenshots that were done with the actual product. So once again, these are the 3 things you're going to need to do. Number 1, you're going to make sure to pick up David Fry's 12-step bulletproof sales letter. Number 2, you're going to go inside of JVZoo and you're going to take a look to find out what some of the other sales letters are like, what their layout is. And number 3, you are going to take a look to find out what they were actually created in. Okay, and then that will give you a head start in terms of creating your own sales letter with your own sales builder software. Now, if you don't have sales builder software, often you can do this if you know some HTML, or you can actually have your sales letter outsourced. But the purpose of looking at this is to know what goes into the copy, first of all, and second of all, then what you are going to do in terms of the layout of your site. And once you've done that, then you will have a good sense for what will work well for your product. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now, one of the things that we have talked about is mentioning the difference between proof and social proof. And so while we're on this sales letter, I do want to highlight what we're talking about so that you can do the same thing in your sales letters. And so you can see how this works psychologically on the person who is actually reading the sales letter, or even if they're not even processing it, you know what's happening. So let's go into this sales letter because none of this is really all that random. And Anthony Morrison actually does sales letters and actually runs traffic from television. And so you know that if he's going to get involved in something, it's got to have a sense that it's going to convert. And you want to have an idea that when you start sending traffic to a particular sales page, you put a lot of work into your product. You want to know that if the only thing holding the person back would be your sales letter, you want to make sure your sales letter is done to the best of your ability. So let's talk about these two concepts of proof and social proof in this particular video. Now, you're going to notice here that both Anthony and Luke, they're going to mention that they are 6 to 7 figure income earners. Right now, that's not necessarily verifiable in a sense, but you probably have a sense that maybe they're probably telling the truth. We could probably say that that could be considered to be proof, but what they're trying to do is to establish credibility. But again, this is an element of proof, and that element of proof needs to be in your sales letter. The other thing you're going to see is this, right? Facebook Live is the fastest growing video streaming service. That's probably verifiable, right? Now, they're not going to give you statistics here, but they're making a claim about Facebook. It has nothing to do with their product, has nothing to do with whether or not their product is going to work. What they're selling you on here is that Facebook Live is a place that you want to be. Setting you up that you need to get this product so that you can be someplace where people are actually going to be, where the fastest growing video streaming service is going to be. And so you are going to see here that they're going to make a claim here. And you and I, whether or not we read this, we do process it. Facebook live streams are watched 3 times as long as any other video. With Facebook Live being the fastest growing live streaming service in the world, it's something you need to be on right now. Now again, these two statements, right? Facebook Live streams are watched 3 times as long as any other device. Facebook Live, and again, they make the claim again. They're re-emphasizing this fact that this is something that's happening. Now, the other thing they're going to do is, again, we're going to do more proof, right? And this is more proof that live streaming is a place you want to be. So they're talking about live streaming. They're talking about Periscope. They're talking about Snapchat. They're talking about Twitch and Blab and YouTube Live and webinars. And so this, again, is the concept. They're talking about the concept of live streaming. Again, live streaming is big. That's the proof. Facebook live streaming is big. That's even more proof. And so now, since their product is about Facebook Live, you're going to get the idea, or you're going to get the sense that, well, man, maybe this is someplace I need to be. Now, you're going to see here in this image that they have taken the proof and they've made it visual, right? So they've got more information about live streaming. Again, as you move down the sales letter, what they are trying to do is to make sure that you understand exactly what's happening with live streaming so that you'll be set up to think about, well, maybe I do need to get involved with Facebook Live if I'm not involved. And if I am involved in Facebook Live, then I want to consider this product. Maybe I already know this information. So let's go on. Now, even though they're talking about a benefit, personal branding, they're actually mixing this with an element of proof and social proof. In other words, look, Dwayne The Rock is on here, right? Dwayne The Rock Johnson is on here. So if he can be on here and he figures it's Facebook Live is worth being on, maybe I need to be on it too. That's the idea. That's what they're trying to communicate here. I mean, there is more in this sales letter, and it's a great example of how you're going to use proof and social proof. Now, let's move on. Again, this sounds like a personal testimony. This sounds like something that actually happened. I noticed Mark Zuckerberg himself do a behind-the-scenes tour of Facebook. But really what this is it's more proof. right? They're adding proof. In other words, Mark Zuckerberg himself is actually using it. Now, you might say, well, Mark Zuckerberg is head of Facebook. He would do that. But again, all this is really doing psychologically is it's saying that, hey, this big celebrity uses live streaming. This big celebrity uses live stream for their company. They're using Facebook Live. Why are you not using it? Once again, you see more proof here in the form of benefits. So this is really powerful because instead of giving you bullets, benefit bullets, they're actually giving you benefit bullets laden with social proof. So when you do your sales letter, you can consider that you can actually give benefit bullets, but you can add in the fact that other people are using this same thing. And he didn't necessarily go and get the people that are using his product. Understand that. So this is not a testimonial. This is, hey, other people are using this medium. Take a look at this. And then they're adding that to your standard benefit bullet and then giving it graphics on top of it, right? So, and the graphics are not hard to create. The graphics are really just screenshots, right? So again, this element of proof is over and over in this product. And as you move through the sales letter, you're being psychologically conditioned that this is really something that you want to consider. Okay, more social proof or more proof, right? Statistics have shown that Facebook that people view Facebook live streams 300% longer than any other form of video. As the best part of Facebook Live, Facebook never deletes your video, right? So again, they're telling you about Facebook Live. They're giving you like a feature and a benefit, but they're actually saying, again, this is more proof that this is some place that you need to be. So once again, you're really being bombarded with proof and social proof all over again. Now again, here's another claim. I don't know if this is verifiable. You could probably go back to his Facebook page to figure out, hey, I actually used my own product and this is what I did. Now, this is someone who is using Facebook Live. They're the vendor of the product, and they're talking about their experience with Facebook Live. So once again, if you're not sold on Facebook Live, you're going to be by the end of this sales letter. And then you'll start talking about, then there's Anthony Morrison coming in and talking about training. So you'll recognize here that this is the problem being introduced to you, and then they're going to start talking about some of the evidence that occurred, right, when they actually used their own product. So there aren't a lot of testimonials at this point, but they're telling you, well, hey, this is what happened when we used our own product. Once again, very powerful, especially because they've already gotten results with what their product actually does. Again, if you start thinking about this, this is really one of the best ways graphically, or even if you were to just write it out, this is going to have an effect on the people who are reading your sales letter. Now, we see screenshots and and lots of people say that you can fake screenshots. Maybe they fake screenshots, maybe they didn't, who knows. But there's just more, it's more psychological proof, it's graphical, and it's not the only element that this relies on. If this was at the very top, if you just said, well, how to make $304 or $400 on average every day, and the whole page was relying upon that, then you might think that's subject to question. But this is just a small part of the proof. If they didn't have that, they'd still have social proof. But once again, this is really just adding to the proof of the entire page. And all that happens before they introduce the product to you in the sales letter, right? So once again, if you understand proof and how you can implement it in your sales letter, this is really, again, how the brain works. They're establishing credibility. They're establishing the fact that this is a place you want to be, and then introducing the product to you. Now, one of the best elements of proof is going to be this little demo here. And so you're going to see this here. You can turn on this demo and you're going to actually see, and we're not going to go through the whole thing here, but they're demoing the product. They're showing it to you. They're showing it to you at work, showing it to you doing what it is supposed to do. Again, this is something that anyone can do. Anyone can show their product at work. And again, it's working on the person who is on the sales letter and reading it. And all of that happens before you even get into features and benefits. All the other things are just style and features and benefits. This is the thing that you have traditionally heard you've got to do in your copy, what's going to be in the product and what people are going to get. Again, you're going to do all that stuff anyway, right? But understand the basis of proof and social proof in this sales letter, and I think you'll understand how you can beef up what it is that you're doing and what it is that you can actually add to in terms of urgency before a person even gets to the point where they're looking at price. The price isn't given until the very end because the value needs to be built up. And of course, some people are not even going to read this sales letter, but some people are. And the people who are going to read through the sales letter, or at least scroll through it, they're going to be given a powerful sense of value before they even get to the end. Okay, so 2 sets of buy buttons then, PS, PPS, and then that's the end of the sales letter. So I hope that this has been helpful for you in terms of being able to dive into the psychology of a sales letter, how you can be more effective in how you write it, and especially understanding the elements of proof and social proof. And one of the things that is necessary to conclude this video by saying is this. You'll notice that there are no testimonials on this page. So testimonials are not so much the issue. The issue is providing people with proof that the concept works, social proof that this product has worked for some people, and the social proof is actually generated by the people who created the product. So you don't have to have testimonials if you have fantastic proof and if you have proof that the concept is going to work for people because of the scientific evidence that people are on, in this case, Facebook Live, whatever it is you're talking about. You want to have those elements in your sales letter. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello, welcome. Now, in this hands-on video, we're going to talk a little deeper about what you're going to do to create an affiliate promotion for the product that you're doing. And I'm actually going to go into my page builder. Now, again, you don't necessarily want to get caught into thinking that your page builder is everything. So the page builder is not the point here. The point here is that you're going to need to create a bonus page. And I'm going to go into my page creator. And we're just going to go and we're going to pick a simple template. And I'll tell you why that is. Because what you're going to try to do here is you are going to try to, you're basically going to try to make sure that your customer understands the value that they're going to be getting from you. Right, so here's a very simple page template. And so we have a headline, we have a sales video or a bonus video, and then we're going to have the bullet points. Now there are a couple of things you're going to be able to do with any bonus page or any landing page template. Notice I use an opt-in page template. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this down here. We're going to get rid of all that noise down there. And what we're going to do is we're going to add in a headline, right? So you'll notice that you've got a pre-headline here. We don't have to have that for a bonus page. And we can actually use another color. Now, light blue tends not to be one that's going to generate excitement. Blue does generate trust, not excitement. So we can go in, we can actually change this, or we can change this to a color that we want, whatever we feel comfortable with, right? So whatever you want to do, you can actually change that. You can use black. You just want to communicate, that you're trustworthy here. And then there's your headline. And so what we also want to do is we want to do some kind of graphical representation of the bonus that we're getting, right? So that we're going to give the customer. Now we can do that above the video or we can do that below the video. It really doesn't matter. In this case, we want people to see the video that we're going to be adding or the bonus we're adding right away. So let's go ahead and just add, I'm going to just add a graphical representation here. It really doesn't matter which one. You will just add in the image for the bonus that you're going to be adding, right? I'm just going to pick one that I had here before. And we're just going to add that in. Right, that's probably going to be too big. I'm going to size that down. I'm going to size that down by maybe, let's size that way down. Okay, that's probably too small. That's probably too small, so we're going to size this down. Or maybe we'll go with half the size. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to see. Now we could probably pull this below that. You know, if we want people to watch our video first, that would be fine. So let's just for the sake of this, we're just gonna drag this below the video. And we're going to do that because we want people to click on the button, but we want them to see the graphical representation after they view the video, if they choose to view the video. Right, so we're going to add in a button here. The button is where we're going to add in our affiliate link. And we're just going to click save and continue. Okay, so now you've got the graphical representation. They're going to see it before they click the affiliate link button. And one of the reasons why you want to create a bonus page is, first of all, when you're sending out an email, you want to send out an email with your bonus page and not with either the Warrior Plus or JVZoo or ClickBank link, because those links are probably going to get you put in the spam folder. So I would not send out a naked JVZoo or Warrior Plus or any kind of affiliate platform link. They get spammed to death. So the inboxes of Google and Microsoft are now going 2 layers deep. And so you might find that if you put a JVZoo link in there in a link cloaker, that it's still going to go to spam, because now the email boxes are reading those pages 1 link deep. So I would go ahead and just send people to a bonus page rather than send them to a naked link. Okay, so now you have a couple of other elements. Now right here, you're going to have a bonus video. And that bonus video, you can either do a demo, or you can do something where people are going to find out what kind of value they're going to be getting from the actual product. Okay, and so you are basically going to be pre-selling them in this video. Now, if the sales page does a great job of selling, then that's great, but you know your customers better than the vendor does. You're doing an affiliate promotion, you're going to be selling to your customers based on your experience. So this is where you can do a video on social proof and then add it to this page. In this area, you're going to add in a basic benefit, right? And then in this area, you're going to add in 3 benefits. You don't necessarily want to add in things about the product. They're going to see that on the sales page. So again, very simple. This video should autoplay. Now, inside of this page builder, inside of most page builders, you're going to be able to make sure your video autoplays, right? So you go and you upload your video to YouTube. We go and get that. Let's see, we just go and get one here. Here's a YouTube music one. It's kind of cool. Copy that. We're going to put that in our URL. And then what we're going to do is we're going to autoplay it. We can hide the controls, and then we can hide the YouTube label. I don't like to show the title bar, so we're just going to click that one. And so we have a bonus page, right? So our affiliate promotion is really going to be based on our video, where we're going to pre-sell them. It's going to autoplay. Now we want to give the buyer the opportunity to stop this video. So this copy is going to be pretty important. It needs to be short, and it needs to talk about the benefits of what people are actually going to be getting if they decide to go ahead and click through. All you're trying to do at this point is you're trying to make a connection to what they're going to get, and then clicking through to the next page, right? That's why I put continue here. Now you can try a number and test a number of different things on the button to figure out what you want to use. Now again, this is my page builder, but any of the page builders are going to have pretty much the same thing. Okay, so that's pretty much what you want to try to accomplish in your bonus page when you are sending people to your affiliate promotion. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. Now, in the course, we talked about doing something called webinar jacking or webinar hijacking, and we're going to hijack the bonus process with an automated webinar system. And so I'm inside of a webinar system. It's called Webinar Fusion Pro. And just about any system that has an automated system can do something like this. So if yours is not Webinar Fusion Pro, you can actually replicate this inside of your own. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to just take a look at one of my webinars, and I'm going to turn it into a recorded webinar. So here's one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit this one. I'm going to make this a recorded video, recorded webinar. I'm going to use one of my recordings here, and I'll just use one here. Right, so this webinar is now going to play this particular video that I've already uploaded. Now, the webinar system is not the point here. The point that I want to get to here is your actual time to make the offer. So I'm going to go inside of the system of Webinar Fusion Pro, and what we would do is we would set up an offer. So we'd go and set up an offer, and in this particular case I've already got one that was already in here, even though I didn't launch it for this webinar. So I'm going to take a look and edit this one. You'll notice here it's got a name, it's got a URL, it's got a URL, and then it's got a button text, right? So if I preview this, okay, it doesn't have a graphical representation. Remember, we always want to have a graphical representation. So let's go ahead and put one in here. I'm just going to pick any image right now. Okay, so we've got one in there. We're just going to click preview. Okay, so there's our graphical representation. Right now, a person can click this button and be sent to a particular URL. So now our offer is set. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set the timing. Now in Webinar Fusion Pro, this is called the Fusion Bot. It's called different things in different systems. And so what we're going to do is at the point of, we're going to say at the point of this 29:54, we're going to actually make sure that the offer is shown to the attendees. I'm going to click add. So now what we want to do is to make sure that on an automated basis, when somebody comes to this webinar, they start watching it, they get to the point where it's 29:54, they're going to see the offer. So now we're really set up so that the person can actually watch a webinar. And however you do it inside of your webinar system, in Webinar Fusion Pro, it's called the Anytime link. So we would grab that link, and once again, I'm going to recommend that you put this link inside of some kind of paging system, or that you cloak it. And today, right, most webinar systems are not being targeted for spam of any kind, but you don't necessarily want to rely on that, especially if you're going to have traffic on an ongoing basis. So one of the things that you can do is, I'm going to go back to the video where we created a landing page, and basically we're going to create the same kind of landing page. In this case, we would not create, a video. We would maybe say, we'd put a headline in here, and our headline would say visit this webinar or something to that effect. And then this URL would go to that Anytime link, right? So now a person comes to the page, they see the headline, they're being asked to take a look at the video. Maybe we'll give them some incentive, we'll give them a bonus if they check this out, or tell them what they're about to experience. I mean, we can probably get a different kind of template. We could probably get one that people recognize as a webinar template, right? We could do that, or some kind of special event page. Right? We could do something like this, and we can make that Anytime link the button. Okay, but now when they click that button, they're going to be taken to that webinar and they're going to be able to watch that webinar. And then we know that at the 30-minute point, they're going to be shown an offer. And what we want to do with that, with the timing, is we want people to have seen the actual value and want them to appreciate what it is that is being offered, and then to be able to click the link. Now, we don't necessarily want to show them the offer prior to the point in the video where they have seen the entire value, right? So in this particular case, in Webinar Fusion Pro, not entirely sure. Let's just take a look and see what actually happens. You're going to see here then when they get that link, it's going to say that the webinar is going to start in 10 seconds, right? And then the video is actually going to start. Right now, what we want to do is we just want to see, okay, so I'm going to stop this here. But that's actually what would happen. So when you send people to that automated webinar, they're going to click the link, they're going to start watching the video, and then at 30 seconds or 30 minutes, they're going to see the offer. And so we would be making sure that that process is as seamless as possible, and that they would be able to make or buy what it is that we have to sell. Now, there is another aspect of this that I do want to tell you about. And I'm going to go back into the webinar system, because in particular, one of the things that we can do with a webinar is we can actually make it so that the webinar is really doing the selling for us. We don't want to rely on a sales page. And so in that particular case, I'm going to go back into this webinar. And when I create this offer, so this is very important, because every page that your viewer has to click on will probably lead to some kind of drop off. So in this particular case, they're being sent to a sales page, right? But we may not want to send them to a sales page. What we could do is, I'm going to go inside of JVZoo right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of the products. I'm going to go to the buy buttons here. Right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to send them to this link. Right? And the reason I'm going to send them to this link is because I will have already sold them, right? I would have spent the webinar doing the selling process, and I may not want to send them to a sales page. In that particular case, all I want them to do is to go to the buy page, right? Let's click Save Changes. And that's where they would appear. They would appear at the actual buy page as opposed to a sales page. And again, you're really then depending on the selling process to happen inside of the webinar. So if you've got a good converting webinar, you've got a good sales process, or you're confident that you're going to be able to communicate all the features and benefits and then the value, then you want to send them directly to go buy at that point in the webinar when they're ready to make the purchase. Okay, so that's it for part 6. Thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome back. Now, in our part 5, we talked about the fact that PLR is a number of different kinds of leverage depending on how you want to use it: teaching, product, bonus, tools. And we talked about membership leverage, and that's really where we want to focus on in this video. Now, in order to create your own membership site where people are going to be able to actually get content on a regular basis, there's a really simple way to do it, and then there's a way for you to do it with software. I'm going to explain the simple way to do your membership in this video. Now, for purposes of this tutorial, we're going to use WordPress, and the reason we're going to use WordPress, it's fairly easy to get a site put up and then fairly easy to customize. So if you're going to start from scratch, even if you don't know a lot about WordPress, starting with WordPress is going to be a great way to be able to create even this membership that we're talking about here. Now you'll notice here that there is a setting in WordPress. If we go down the dashboard in the settings area and we go to the reading area, and there's a button here that says discourage search engines from indexing this site. What that means is that the pages, when you create them, will not show up in search engines, so people won't be able to find them from outside. And so what you want to do here is you want to then start creating this membership site in a way so that people cannot just search for the content and then find it. That's really going to be the starting point in creating this membership. Now, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to create new posts. And we create a new post, and we're going to create one post for every month. So we might say this is August of 2016, and this is going to be the content. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to put a link in here. We're going to put a link in here that says here. Now this is really simple, but you're going to be delivering the content based on what you promise. Here is your August content. Right? Again, no frills, no fluff. It's going to be simple for the buyer and simple for you. Now, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to link to the August content. Now, obviously, this is not going to be showing up in the search engines. And the other thing, too, is even though this is going to be the title of your post, so that people can't guess it, you want to make sure that your URL is unique. And so you might add in something there that is hard to guess, right? So then people won't necessarily be able to go in and guess your URL. Now what we need to do is we need to add to this, we need to put a link here. And whatever your content is, wherever your content is hosted, if you have your content hosted in Google Drive, if you have it hosted in Microsoft OneDrive, all you're going to do is to create a link here to that actual content. Create insert link, and you're going to link to that content here. And the only way people are going to be able to get that link is if they've come to this page. So unless someone is inside your membership giving away your content, it's going to be fairly secure. Now there are ways, and there are software programs and even WordPress plugins that will secure this content, right? But if you're just trying to set up a membership that is simple to deliver, this is going to be the content. This is where they're going to actually get it. We're going to click publish. And so now this content, actually we didn't create a link. I'm just going to put in here google.com just so we'll have a live link. And click update. Okay, so now if we go and view this post, it's going to say, here's your August content. And they're going to click that link, and they're going to be taken to the download link that you give them. So now that's really the first part of this process. And so what we're going to do is that every month, we're going to make sure that our customer actually gets this link that we create for them. And we're going to do that through our autoresponder. Now I'm going to go into get response right now, and I'm going to create a brand new campaign, and I'm going to say monthly content, right? We're going to create a monthly content. We're going to create the campaign. Actually, they want it differently. We're going to call that maybe something unique. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create autoresponders. So we don't want to send broadcast emails. We want to send autoresponders. So we're going to create an autoresponder here so that the day they sign up, the day they become part of our list, they're going to get an email immediately, right? So we're going to say this is day 1 of the membership. We're going to save that and publish, and then we're going to write our we're gonna go ahead and create our email. We're gonna call this day 1 of the membership. Okay, this is gonna appear in our list of messages. That's the way GetResponse does it. This is what the customer is gonna see. Day 1 of the membership. We're gonna click save. Then we're gonna go to the next step. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep a very simple template, right? I'm going to go start from scratch. If I want to use one of those templates there, I can. If I want it to look good, but again, what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to make sure the customer gets their content. Now I'm going to go here and get response. I'm going to eliminate all of this. I'm going to eliminate a lot of this for now. I'm going to send them a personal message, so I'm going to personalize this and get response. I'm going to send that to their first name, and I'm going to say thanks for signing up. Here's your August content. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to actually go and get that link. Now remember, the only way they're going to be able to get this link is if they get inside of your membership. So if your content is being shared around, it's probably going to be being shared by someone who's buying it, right? So for the most part, you don't have to worry so much about people being able to get inside of here. Again, people are paying for this, and if they choose to start sharing it, that's something you're not necessarily going to be able to prevent fully. So what we're going to do is we're going to then link to this content, and so that everybody that signs up day one, they're going to get this content. Right, so now we have our message. Now, for the sake of your autoresponder, you do want to make sure your plain text email is going to read the same. Right? Let's see. I don't like that I don't like that so much. I'm just going to copy this then. And we're going to put this inside of the plain text box also. Right, so there's our plain text. In case your user has plain text email, I'm going to get rid of this image box. We don't really want that. And so they're going to get this. Everybody that signs up, that ends up buying the product, they're going to get that on month one. We're just going to go to step one, next step. And once we click next step, we actually have what we need in order to have this message sent to people when they sign up. We're just going to make sure it publishes. And then we'll have our first membership content delivered. Now, what we need to do for every month is we need to create a new message, and we need to create a new post. So create a new post, new message, and what happens is when people join, they'll actually get the content on the day that they actually sign up, as opposed to getting it right away. Now, they will not see the content. You have to make sure that they cannot guess the URL. But it's a very simple way of being able to deliver the content to people on a routine basis. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to this last hands-on video. And in the last section, we talked about the fact that we want to make sure that when we're purchasing, we want to make sure that we're purchasing, not substituting for the things that we really need to do in order to build our business. And one of the things that we talked about here is we talked about the book Deep Work. And we talked about that with respect to the concept of scheduling interaction and making sure that it's focused. Now, this book is by a gentleman named Cal Newport, and it's actually written on Kindle. It's also available on Audible, and it's also available in most public libraries for free. The concept of the book is how can we get the most focused time in on the work that we're trying to do? And he has several strategies in how to do that. And so we talked about this with respect to interacting in groups and interacting in products rather than actually doing the work that's really going to generate content and generate cash for us. And so you want to keep in line, are you really getting the work done? And this book will help you to think through that process and whether or not the interaction that you're getting is the kind that will generate profit. And again, if you're going to buy in order to generate the kind of profit that you really want, you might want to consider some level of coaching, or if the information product actually does it for you, then get the information product. But again, the thinking that you want to do can be developed in this concept in this particular book. We also talked about the book Peak by Anders Ericsson, where he discussed this idea of deliberate practice. And we talked about it with respect to making sure that when you purchase software, that it's really giving you the kind of automation that you want, and that it's really building your business, doing things for you that you cannot do or that you could do, but that the software helps you to do it faster. However, not looking at it in a way to avoid understanding your market, to avoid understanding how to reach your customer, or to avoid understanding your customer in the first place. And so the book, like the others that we have talked about, is available on Amazon, in Kindle, in Audible, and it's typically available in most public libraries for free. And the book is really the cornerstone of the philosophy that Malcolm Gladwell talked about in the book Outliers. The theory that he talked about in that book was based on the work of this gentleman. And I guess this is the first time that he's actually put his real thoughts in print and real thoughts in action. And so what you'll see here is that what's most important is for us to practice deliberately, to get feedback on what we're doing, and then make adjustments. And that process helps us to improve in every little thing that we're trying to do. And it's especially going to help us as we are solo business owners or even managers of other people. So this book will help to shape how you make your purchases, so that when you make your software purchases, you're not making them to do something that you can only do by getting better at what you do, but to get it so that it helps us to be more focused as well as to be leveraged in our business. We talked about the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy, and the Blue Ocean Strategy is really about going to some place where there is not a product currently, but that there's a market need. And so we want to make sure that when we use PLR, that we change it into something that the market needs. And that's what we talked about in the Avoid Substitutes section. And that we want to make sure that we are still in the marketplace understanding it, still doing the actual work. This book is also available in all the forms, typically at most public libraries. It's a little older, it's been updated a number of times, but the concept is still the same, that we as business owners and entrepreneurs, we want to swim where there is not red ocean. And the idea about red ocean is that if sharks are there, they're feeding on people, and of course there's blood in the water, and that's where all the sharks go. But we want to go where there's blue ocean, where there are not a lot of sharks there, but that the market is there waiting for a solution for a problem that it has. So if we understand, the more we understand the market, the more we're going to be able to take our PLR to meet that demand, even if we have to go back and change some of it in order to give the market what it wants. We also talked about the book Smarter, Faster, Better, and making sure that we are not buying information instead of making a decision. And so we have to have in mind what it is that we're trying to accomplish, and to think about this in terms of every 7 days. Every 7 days, we should have an idea of what we're trying to accomplish, not only for that week, but what we're trying to accomplish in our business, and that would not be vague. That should not be that we're just trying to make more money or we're trying to make another $2,000. We should have a pretty square goal in mind in how we're doing that. And we need to have an idea of what should be happening every day and some kind of minimum viable activity. So what is it that we can do or we cannot leave the day without doing in order to accomplish that goal? And that's where we kind of brought in the concepts in the book Smarter, Faster, Better. In the book, there's a concept called locus of control, and that we want to remain in control of the process of driving our business. And so what we don't want to do is we don't want to be out of control so that if a launch happens that we're going to jump on it because we don't want to miss it. We want to make sure that the business drives what it is that we need. And so we always want to be inside of that space of, what do I need to do in 7 days? What do I have to happen? What do I need to make happen in order to get to that goal? And what's my minimum viable activity? And sometimes there's going to be a launch that'll fit into that. And other times we'll have to buy things that are outside of that launch. But if we're moving in a particular direction, we'll be able to avoid the substitute of buying when we really should be making a decision about how we're going to build and grow our business. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.